O'clock, we'll call this meeting to order. El Paso, Texas. Is what you're showing. Okay, here. We'll go to minutes, so not to the meeting. If not, here in the packet. We'll just do that. Entertain a motion to approve. Motion second. Motion by Amber, second by Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? They are approved. On the agenda tonight, you'll notice that I didn't put on the trash, discussion that we had last month. As far as I know, we still haven't got a contract for the new rates. Is that correct, Cliff? So until we know what the new cost is gonna be, any discussion of raising the cost of pickup is kind of mute. We don't know how much we're gonna have to raise it with that new contract. So I've just left that off, specifically. As soon as that contract comes in, we'll pick that back up and get that addressed, as soon as we can. So the first item we've got tonight is the courthouse HVAC, which is a lovely topic that we all love talking about. So my understanding, Cliff, is we had a part go out, they fixed the part, and then the compressor went out.
Well, the compressor out, what caused the first, the manifold to blow. So then they got it all back up and running. The compressor's got a bad knock and something in it seizing up, shutting down, and then it'll restart and just effectively gonna tear itself up again. So they shut it down and ordered a new compressor.
Now, isn't that originally what was back ordered for so long, was the compressor?
I don't know if it was for that unit or the other one. There's two there.
Okay. So, as far as the maintenance agreement on that, is CHC able to do something with us?
Yeah, we've got a quote, in your packet from CHC, but, just need to bear in mind that Train has proprietary software that CHC won't be able to help us with. We'll still have to go through Train to get certain things. As far as the software side of it goes, it'll have to be done by Train.
Now, is that something that, as we discussed, that you had with your truck software, is that something we have to buy each year, or is that something we can wait a couple of years and then just get it all at once? And
Hopefully we can skip a year here and there, but more than likely it will be an annual fee. They'll change something just to ensure the fact that we have to get it, I'm sure.
so we're still looking, no matter whether we do CHC or not, we're still looking at the 20,000 to train.
Well, I mean, that 20,000 is their high mark. We can go back and cut away at that, kind of pick and choose and trim it down considerably. We'll just have to see, how much.
So that with Train is just for the computerized software, right?
The 20?
I mean, yes.
No, it's everything. They'll come in and run it through its paces twice a year.
So was the compressor not under warranty?
Yeah, the compressor's under warranty. The 20 is a service plan, not a repair.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So, can you reach back out to them and find out what just the software upgrade will be each year? And that way we can compare that to that number plus what CHC has given us to see if it's actually any cheaper or not. I know we've had better luck in dealing with CHC than we have dealing with Train. So there is something, the convenience and just quality of work, it seems. But
On this with CHC, just, I have a few questions, of course. One, I don't know of any HVAC that has a belt. And I know that saying that I'm looking at as any minor repairs that are found. Is there any discount? What is the cost of labor? Are they gonna charge us the regular labor rates, or are we gonna get a discounted labor rate
For the repairs now,
for the repairs in this preventive maintenance agreement?
If we do the preventive maintenance with them, are we gonna get a discount on service calls beyond the maintenance?
I don't know, I'll have to ask him and see. I'll talk to him.
This for the units,
Yeah, this is for the AC unit at the courthouse.
I mean, it's over.
There's two.
Two in a fresh air unit.
And CAC already does the maintenance on this building.
For the Justice Center.
Okay, so this building's separate air system than the Justice?
Yeah.
It looked like in reading this, that CHC is gonna give us a $250 credit towards any minor repairs with this service plan. But anything over 250, that we have to pay extra for. Is the way it's reading, unless I'm misunderstanding that.
Repairs on them right now.
Right now, it's, is it trained themselves or is it still the subcontractors?
Drain's been up once, but, CHC is the one that's working.
Anything else on that, Cliff?
No, sure.
Anyone else got any questions on that?
Check it.
It'll be twice a year. I don't think the contract with Drain, it trains in tonight's packet, but I can get you one.
And as of right now, with the issues we've had, they're coming more frequently than twice a year just for warranty issues. So, but I mean, this hasn't come in twice a year, with CHC doing the preventative maintenance on it. I believe that was the same, that was in the $22,000 deal from Train, correct? They came twice a
Yeah.
year.
But yeah, but I mean, these preventative maintenance agreements are just something for y'all to look at. If we're not interested in them, then I mean, they're up here constantly working on them anyway, so.
And they're still on warranty and then,
Yeah, we're using the warranty.
so what happens if when you let this other company start doing the maintenance? with the
The
warranty?
other company's already doing
They're
it.
certified.
They're Train certified, so, yeah. It doesn't, it's just, their service, not including the software upgrade, is a heck of a lot cheaper than what Train's trying to sell us. When they're probably gonna be the same ones coming to do the work anyway. So the only difference is Train has the software to update the system. And we've got to get that software directly from Train. So if we can get their agreement pared down enough. I mean, say if we can get it down to, $8,000 just for the software upgrade. Plus the 46 here, well, we're saving money off the 22,000 Train wants to charge.
Well, what is the software?
There's no telling what it could be. It could just be a change on a light from red to green. It could be anything simple in there that they so choose to just say you need an update. It could be minimal.
If you don't keep it updated, then it doesn't run efficiently. And it's kind of a gimmick that they've got worked out.
I'm not no professional on it, but I spoke with them a little bit.
We'll let you come look at this.
Well, if it don't work, it shouldn't be costing you nothing.
Right now, it's not, other than having to come over here and run the electrical in this.
Well, there's things that's costing us money. I mean, the oil had water in it. So to change the oil, it's $1,700 oil change because the oil is not a part. It's oil.
Oh, because they're part failure.
Yeah. That's a valid point. I mean,
You know, that's,
yeah,
you can make it all day with them.
And
That's it.
but I mean, this should still all fall onto the installation of it. I mean, it's just, it's yet to run for a full year without an issue.
what was our official warranty with them? Do you remember
Supposed to be 10 years on car.
anything on labor?
I don't remember that part. I don't think. Couldn't get them to come up here, and I couldn't get them to answer the phone. They don't.
But what we're stuck with and trying to make the best of it. That's all I'm gonna do. All right, if there's no other questions, we'll move on to the next one, the generator with the admin building. In your packet, you've got you've got the original from 23 quote for 125 kilowatt unit. That's starting to look really good right now compared to the updated quote for the 100 kilowatt unit now in 25, where we got up almost $30,000. And when we looked at on the usage, and that's in your packet also there on page 7 and 8. And you can see I had them break it down. See, there's your per months. There was one that was broken down. That was, yeah, on page 8, that bar graph there is the month of December from 11/12 to 12/12. Those are each day. You're running about 24 on average there, about 240, I guess that is. So then that'd be divided by 8, so that's 30 kilowatts in, an hour that you're running on average on that building. The most that I could see when they pulled it up was 77 in the, July, August time period for one day, kind of a peak. So the original was for 130. That was way bigger of a generator than the building needs. Most of us felt that way, so I asked Cliff to go back to him and ask for a smaller unit that would be closer to what, the building actually needs. So there's, down to 100. But because we waited 2 years, the price has gone up. Now this from Caterpillar is correct me if I'm wrong, but the way it reads, Cliff, that's straight up turnkey. When we pay that money and it's all hooked up, they do everything. Notice that have you had a chance to talk with Bransford to see if theirs has changed any? But this is still the same one from
Yeah, it's,
December of last year.
well, that's when we got it. They came and looked at it about a month after Cat did in 23. So
Okay.
I don't know exactly how, Ed stated that date, but I'm sure this is not a good quote because it says 30 days.
Yeah,
Still 130, they do generator.
yeah. So I mean, they were already almost $40,000, $30,000 off. Cheaper, but did we ever find out what generator they were quoting us?
Well, I couldn't find out what kind it was.
So, I mean, talking with Amy as far as the purchasing situation here, Caterpillar is on government and it's on state contract, so we don't have to do bidding to deal business with them. We can just say, the commission can just say, okay, we're gonna go with that before it goes up anymore and just do it. We don't have to do any more bids. But talking with Amy, because we've already got 2 bids, we just need 3. And so since we've already shown the due diligence of 2 years working on this project, she said there shouldn't be any issues with the comptroller's office as far as if we picked another company other than Caterpillar at this point. I do agree with what Mr. Solis said last week or last month's meeting. The problems we're having with the Generac is the fact that they subcontract their parts out. And every couple of years, they obsolete one companies and bring in another's, which is the problem we're having with the existing generator. It's one part, that's the only reason the thing doesn't work, and we can't get the part. At least with the Caterpillar, we should never run that issue.
Do we know what the warranty is with Brainsford?
We're gonna get one more bid on it.
We can, or we can just go straight with Thompson, whatever commission wants to do.
While we, in the second year, why did we not go ahead? Is there a waiting period or?
No, that is, that's before me being on this committee, so I wasn't privy to those discussions. So I don't know, I really don't know what the holdup was. I know there was a lot of back and forth over the size and the amount, and so for whatever reason, the can got kicked and now it's 30,000 more. So. And it's 30,000 for a 30 kilowatt smaller unit.
Right.
Which is even worse. You're paying more for less of a generator now. So that being said, what does this body need to be able to make a decision on it? You need another quote, you need more information.
I believe you need one or two more quotes, and whenever they do it, there needs to be more, more information.
Has Caterpillar ever come and looked at them?
That's Caterpillar.
Caterpillar down here twice.
Yeah,
or
I've been on here.
Yeah. That's, as the chairman, I'm wanting to, what information do you need from Cliff because the longer we do this, no matter which one we go with, we're not getting cheaper. And we've got to have a generator on that building, because that's what all the 911 servers go
Whether we need to let Bransford look at it again, since that's one quote we've already got.
Okay.
And, see what type of, brand they're putting in.
There's also Cliff, the company that does the maintenance on, the water department's generators.
Kohler,
Have we reached out to them?
they were supposed to come look, never showed up. That's a Kohler right there, and lights stay on all the time. We work on that one constantly.
Okay.
But it is a natural gas, not a diesel.
That's kind of what we come down with. In previous discussions that I've gone back and listened to, that was the whole discussion, natural gas versus diesel. Diesel's easier for us to get to. We already have it with everything else.
They're quoting gas, it's not even including diesel.
No, it doesn't include the fuel.
I'll say this, I've spent 2 years on it, and this is not, I don't even know who's supposed to be doing it. I just said I'd help out, and kinda got stuck with it, so. You're gonna have to get somebody that's knows more about generators and knows more about electricity than to deal with this for me. I'm just not comfortable moving forward with it, so.
Motion that Branford gives us another quote on smaller generator.
Smaller than the 130?
We need to compare apples to apples, and
Yeah.
whatever size one's putting in, need a quote on the same size.
And I'll clear up what size.
Yeah.
They told him one thing and they told me another. I've been told we can get by with 75. Told him we need 100. So.
The 100 not give you opportunity for growth, Alan? I
Uh,
mean, if you,
Well, actually, what I was told by Jimmy Beecham was a 50 would carry it.
okay,
It would be loaded, but it would carry it. 75 would give you room.
And then where my number came is when I talked with Tri-County, just had the lady at the desk just pull the usage for the building. The highest usage was 77 on a couple, I think it was just one day. So I took the highest usage, per hour on a day and just said, okay, and get the same padding that same 20% padding. So that's what got me to the 100 on the numbers that I was getting. So that's why Cliff went and asked for, a bid for 100 unit. So either way, it's the same thought pattern. You don't want to do the max of what you're doing as your smallest. You want that padding so it doesn't overwork. We just need to kind of dial it in. I was hoping that when we dropped to the 100 unit, Caterpillar would hit us back at the 99 mark and we just move forward. Them hitting us at 160, 164, I think it was.
164, 692.
That just kind of blew my mind. But then I got to looking, okay, it's 2 years back, so that's $15,000 increase each year. Okay. Maybe, but man, things got that much expensive.
I did find someone right before this meeting that is willing to look at the specs and installs generators. And let me first and foremost say, no, it is not my husband. Okay. But it is someone here in Trousdale County. That,
I think that we get good.
so with that being said, I mean, would you like to revise your motion, Alan,
And more bids.
to go into the bids on 100 KW? Or,
If he's wanting to go back to Tri-County and look at the usage again, and just make sure we're all on the same pages. Because
or just open it up, take whatever's needed by what Tri-County says, and
Well, like I say, I told David, I know we have a 75 KVA bank that's feeding it now, and we've never had any issue with it. And the head engineer, Tri-County, is the one who told me 75. I'm just trying to figure out where it got off to make sure
right.
one or the other's not wrong.
Yeah, so on that 75 bank, when it hit the 77 kV, an hour that day, would,
Well, it'll carry more for a short time,
okay,
and the generator may not.
yeah,
But like I said, when I talked to him, he was telling me that, he was telling me like low 50s was the highest he was showing.
yeah.
So,
Well, I've got it. The numbers I've got are in your packet. And it's just for the month.
what we looking at.
Yeah, so 801 that month, the average was 490 kV a day. Or on that. Yeah, for that month. So you take that divided by how many, there's. What's 490 divided by 31? Now, this is just the average says it's 490, but it says 15,000, so that is the average there.
Yeah, that's like, that's average kilowatt hours a day,
Okay.
which that should come up to your kilowatt hour
Your
total.
490 for the
Your
whole-
account demand should be your amps.
Okay,
Yeah, even on these, which this
Yeah.
is. Like I said, he gave me the readings off like the last few years,
yeah,
and the highest
and
ever.
this is just the 1 year.
Yeah, that's 1 year, and which of course the summer is low.
Yeah. Yeah, that's your,
That's,
well,
you know, your 15, 12, 10.
yes. Well, that's still only 15 kilowatts an hour then through there. So are we even, I mean, even at 75, are we way over? Cause that's 75 kilowatts.
Like I
an hour.
said, you gotta have the amps. The generator gotta be able to pull the amps when it's needed.
Yeah,
And that's why I was saying, he was saying some of the highest ones he's seen was like low 50s. And that could be just for a short period of time, you know, start up, this, that, and the other.
Okay.
So that's why he suggested 75, but like I say, he may have been wrong, or your
For the-
person may be
the
wrong. We just need to make sure we got the right one, because if all we need is 75, we don't need to buy 100.
Yeah.
That's my thinking.
no, that's, yeah,
I'll find out, and I'll actually go to the guys that put the one in at the office, find out where he got it. I'll see if he can't get a quote on it. It's a Cummins.
okay.
See if he can't get a quote on it.
Well, now, the one we've got now is a Cummins motor. It's a, Generac generator with a Cummins motor on it, which the Cummins motor still works just fine. It's the generator side of that switch. Which is why we kind of want to get away from the Generac because of the way they do
I think
it.
they're calling Cummins on him or something.
Does Cummins have their own now?
I don't know, OMA.
Oh.
That's what you're gonna get into, is you can't compare apple to apple with a generator. There's just no way.
Yeah,
I think the only way you're gonna be able to do it is either go with a set KW.
Yeah.
Generator, you know,
but at the same time, we've got to take into effect of the lifespan of this thing and how easy is it going to be able to service in 10 years down the road. So we don't see the same issue we're in now where we can't fix what we have. We got to keep replacing. And it might be to a situation of today's world is you can't just fix them anymore. After 10 years, you got to replace them. That's how the companies are making money.
I'd just like to see what your warranty is.
Yeah.
Along with those.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm not mistaken in the quote, if you just get
That
it
way
5
we
years.
kind of prepare ourselves or, you know, if it's for 5 years, hey, if something happens for 5 years.
How long would he have that size for?
Yeah, which in my opinion should have been done 2 years ago. Here we are, and we'll work on that. But yeah, the quote that we're getting from Thompson is a 5-year, 2,500 hour generator extended warranty comes with theirs. But just their, if I'm mistaken, it was just the years on their solar, right? No, it's a 2-year, 1,000 standby warranty. The 1-year vendor items for the published warranty statement. That's what I need as chairman. I need a motion to gather the information, for Alan to gather information from Tri-County.
I'll make a motion, all right, well.
We never got a
Yeah,
second
the
on.
motion should be to get more bids once the size is determined.
And then, since Beverly's found someone who can act as a consultant for us, who does this, generator installation, to take this off Cliff's plate. Do we want to have them come and kind of help us through the bid process to?
They are willing to bid on it.
That kind of gives
Them
them,
out.
yeah,
Exactly,
they can't really be a consultant and bid on it at the same time.
exactly. I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you. All right, so let's take the first motion as it is. Do I have a second? So the motion that Alan's making is that after the termination of the size unit we need to get further bids on that size unit. Okay, Jeff seconds it. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, it passes. So we'll start with that. Alan, when you get that information, you can forward it on to me. And we'll I'll try to get with the mayor's office and just reach out for a couple of bids from a different couple of companies and bring them into you, and we'll go on the size generator based on what Tri-County recommends.
Alan, will you CC me in that too, please?
Yeah.
Everyone okay with that? I really want to get something in front of the full commission within the next couple of months before prices jump up again. With all the tariffs the president's putting in place, I'm guessing prices are gonna start bouncing within the next 6 months anyway. So.
Thank you for all you've done, though, Cliff.
Oh, yeah. I don't like carpet shops, so I ain't got no business messing with them.
All right, so the last thing on our agenda for the night is the admin building itself. The last page of your packet, you got the drawing that I went over last month, kind of rushed. Let everyone look at that, and so Rosalie has been officially appointed as the head of that department now. She's gonna be posting the position that she used to have. There's gonna be 2 people back in that office again. We need to get her some storage space, cabinet room and whatnot. Talking with all the different elected officials in the building, instead of us just changing the building to what we think is best, I thought it'd be a neat idea to ask the people working there what they needed, what their thoughts were. The highlighted areas here are the 3 departments that said they needed more room. So you've got the green, which would be Rosalie's, in the planning office would be moved over to the green. Cindy would like to be moved to the blue. And then in the future, Candace needs to have extension put on her office off to the side there for more cabinet space there. The pressing is the blue and the green. Candace is good for another 5 years or so before that orange is desperately needed. She still has room in her cabinet, she said, to get her the next 5 years. There's really not a ton to do. The yellow lines that you can kind of make out both in the green and the blue are non-load bearing walls. Those are walls that were put in place when they first moved into that building. So of course they were put there after construction. They can be taken down. The more expensive would be in the green. That yellow wall is a dividing between what is Cindy's office now, the trustee's office, and the kitchen that the water department used to use. So it'll be a little more on the remodeling cost for that, because you'll not only take the wall down, but might need to do the flooring will need to be changed out and possibly the cabinets adjusted. And then the yellow line there for the mayor's office, that's just an existing wall there now. That would come down, which would make that front office just one big office in front of the mayor's, which would make a receptionist kind of lobby area for the mayor's office. That would give somebody would be there to kind of guard that door. Mayor has an open door policy, but he's had a lot of problems. Well, the last 3 mayors have had problems with people with the door shut. They just grab a hold of the knob, and if it's unlocked, they walk right in. meetings can progress and whatnot, and, so it would be nice to actually have a place when the mayor's wrapping up one meeting to have somebody be able to sit and wait. Right now, you don't have anything.
Is there anyone in there right now?
Right now, there's not. Now I know that they've talked about adding either a part-time person there as a receptionist or another full-time person to help kind of as a floater, helping between Misty's office, Renee's, and the other Amy's office, as far as their workloads.
Okay, so this wouldn't be tossing somebody out of it.
No, that actually currently, that office, mayor assistant, account assistant office, that's empty. And the public works office is labeled here, is currently empty. But with Rosalie moving into the green, Misty would move to that public works office, which would have been Amy Thomas's old office.
Okay.
So that gives Rosalie enough room to be able to have, private conversations with developers and whatnot, going over site plans in her office, and having enough room for cabinets and for plats and whatnot. I don't know if y'all had a chance to go, talk with her in her office, but you'll see that she's got rolled up plats just stacked up in the back there. And how she keeps track of anything, it's beyond me. But she's also looked at getting a third person through a internship program that can help with doing some of just the digital data, entry stuff, to be able to help answer phones and whatnot. So that would give them the room for that. I know Cindy's talking about wanting a third person for her department to help out. So she wanted to be able to have the two people on the counter, which would be, the old counter that was used at the clerk's office. And then she would have her office next to, and then she could come over and help also. But I don't know if personnel or budget has room for that third person in her department. That's another committee and not really what we're worried about. My thought is we can, if the cost is minimal, be able to get it all done, and then we don't have to touch that building for another 10, 15 years. And every department has the size they need. Any questions, comments?
I think we need to see kind of what cost we were looking at before. Just a kind of a ballpark. I mean, I know once you get into it, there's gonna be extended expenses, because if that is close to a kitchen and that's cabinets, you don't know if there's plumbing running through there.
Well, let's put the wall in, so
Okay.
we do know that there's no plumbing in that wall. The wet wall is the wall on the back of that. So that we do know. Cliff's Cliff, you put all those walls in, haven't you?
Yes.
So we do know what's there. So that's a plus. That's why back in the Register of Deeds office, that vault wall between the property assessors and Register of Deeds, Cliff put that wall in and said there's so much in that wall, it'd be cheaper to build out the side than it would be to move that wall and to shorten the register, the property assessor's office.
So is this something that we're looking to add on for Cliff to do?
Well, that was the discussion
Or-
that his guys were capable of doing it. But at the same time, Cliff's guys are loaded down with quite a bit too, so I don't want to overload Cliff's guys. But if the difference in price is so substantial, Public Works is willing to take it on, then that's a thought too. So I just wanted to present it. This is what I found talking with the people in the building. This is what they would like to do, what they like to do, and what happens are not always the same thing. So I'm bringing it before the committee for consideration. There's no reason to do all of it at one time. Like I said, the Register of Deeds, she's good for another 5 years. They haven't hired anyone for the mayor's office, but that one's probably the cheapest one to do, is just tear that wall down and use the framing to build a wall across the old hallway there. And then the other two, we've got to do something for Rosalie. If we just leave her where she's at, I mean, that's fine, but like I said, trustee is looking for a little more room herself, but we can just open up Rosalie's office into Rita's old office. And that's the cheapest, and that at least gets that blue done. Who occupies that is, I guess, on the mayor at that point. And then we can worry about Cindy's side later. Once she gets her, once she's got a workload that substantiates that third person, then, we can make that change there. This is more of, like I said, more of a grand, here's what we can do with this building, and all the elected officials are happy with the use, with the square footage they have at that point, down the road growth. It's really tight financially right now with the county. Generator, coming in, it looks like no matter what we do, it's still gonna be somewhere around $100,000 for that generator to get installed. But tearing down a wall, moving a wall over is fairly inexpensive when it's just a non-load bearing wall. It's more of a appearance thing than it is a structural thing, so.
Now, did you say you did this or you got this from some?
No, this is a rough drawing that, the county already had. And so I went around and asked the different department heads, what are your needs? What are you looking at? Give me what you're needing for the next 10 years. And trying to go ahead now, because we already have empty offices. Rita's old office is sitting empty. Amy's old office is empty, and the mayor's assistant office is sitting empty. Well, let's make the most of the square footage we have, reassess it, get it done, and then not have to fool with that building. They've all complained since they moved in there. It's weird the way everything got caught up. We don't have the water department there anymore, so, all that got freed up. So the thought is just make it efficient, make a good use of the building, and then just not have to worry about it anymore. To kind of finish the project that they got started when they moved in there.
Do all of the county buildings,
Mhm.
do they have plaques like this?
I'll have to look. I know the admin building had this because, well, that's their building. I don't know if they have one for each building. Some of the buildings predate, being metro, so I don't know. Like, the old city hall, I don't know if there's a layout for that one. Do you know, Cliff?
I don't know where it'd be. I can check and see. I've got several blueprints at the office.
Being on buildings,
Yeah.
like, I honestly don't know every building that's underneath the county. I mean,
Yeah.
to be completely honest, or, what would need to be addressed in them, or what we, I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
So,
And that's part of what was brought up during the meeting on the jail, on that work session that we did. The idea of putting the jail up at the EMS building and moving EMS down. Now, the thought that was brought up was putting it over by the fire hall. But when you build the jail up there, that old city hall is gonna be left open. That's 3-bay garage with more than enough room to put housing and whatnot, and educational room in a building that's already there. So that might actually be a lot cheaper than building a new building. And then you just move rescue, where the fire department's already wanting to expand that building, for extra garage space. And then you just put 5 more bays there, and there's rescue. And now you've got fire and rescue vehicles all garaged. You've got EMS all garaged and better living quarters. I mean, I've been up there, last month. Cliff's gone up there and done a great job of patching the building, but it's a piece together building, and you can tell we're gonna constantly be working on it if we keep it up there. And we're just polishing a turd at this point, in my
which
opinion.
building?
the EMS building. I mean, and you're just dealing with a pole barn still running the vehicles. And some of those are diesel vehicles and you're having problems with things starting in cold weather and I mean, they're having issues up there.
Mhm.
Now, I know, Cliff, you were working on getting heat in the rescue building. How's that coming?
We haven't heard exactly what they want heated yet. We put a new heater in the restroom. Now they said they got a mold issue, so we'll have to go in there and tear all that out and redo it. Right now, we run a short crew this time of year, guys.
Yeah.
It's me and Shaq and Danny. That's it. We got a mechanic and a mechanic's assistant up there. That's all we've got. So we're real short-handed right now. So we're doing all we can do.
Look, these blocks in green, is that everything that's empty right there?
No, so that is what would be made into one department. So that would be codes and zoning. So that is the existing trustee's office, the old water department kitchen, Misty's current office, and then there's a closet there behind the bathroom that's already a part of the trustees. So that would be all that room, which is probably more than what Rosalie needs. But it puts her in a situation where we don't ever have to address it again. And I've talked to Cindy and she said giving her the blue is more than she would ever need. And that's 20 years out before she'd ever have to worry about anything, expansion or anything. So that's kind of my point of looking at this was not just looking at what what we need to fix for the next 2 years and then have to change that again because of something. Let's just do it one time and be done. And if we do each part at a time, then it's minimal on the budget. I mean, like I said, you can do the blue one time and, the mayor's wall there, and there's one. And that should be, I mean, you're tearing a wall down and opening a door that's already cut. And then you're tearing another wall down and then making a little short, that's a 4-foot wall there, block that hallway.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even if we hired somebody out, so that it wasn't a burden on Cliffs, I can't imagine it being more than $20,000 to do all that. And that should be highly overestimated. You do more construction than, I mean,
What we're gonna get into in this building is the wallpaper and the flooring. The
Yeah.
flooring's outdated and the wallpaper will be unmatched. So
Requires you to change it.
we'll have to change it. At least in that entire hallway, the wallpaper will have to be changed.
yeah. Well, if you're gonna do that hallway, then you've got to do that office there too, to make it all match. And that is where we start getting into some expense. So the thought is, do we take, I mean, it's just which part do we start with and what part do we start, shooting bids out for or do we even want to fool with it? Or just leave it as it is and just have everyone just keep working? My understanding is elected officials are supposed to be able to have a private office. We're supposed to be able to provide that. Cindy doesn't have a private office at the moment, but she's been very polite and gracious about that, not make too much of a stink, but I had said something to her about, opening that back up into Misty's office and her having that office. And she said she didn't want to be that far away from the counter in case she needed to be up there and help, having to take money back and forth. She said she'd rather be in the situation in Rosalie's office to be able to be right there at the counter and just be able to not be so far. Is that a legitimate reason to spend, $20,000? I'm asking y'all. That's the idea. That's the conversation that I had. And so what we do with that is on this committee's mind. Let me know.
Oh, the trustees in the big green one.
Correct.
Where will the trustee be?
across the way to the blue.
We're seeing.
Well, no, the blue right now is Rosalie is in the 3 and 3, the two
Yeah.
little ones there.
Yeah.
That's Rosalie's office now. The 5 and 4 office is empty. That's the old county clerk's office there. But we moved Rita across the way, so with that office being empty, it gives us, I mean, like I said, we can put Rosalie there. There's enough room in that big blue to put cabinets in there for her. But like I said, Cindy's asked to be over there for her reasons. They don't seem to be too outlandish of reasons, so.
You asked them about, swapping down.
I have, right now, they can't, until we make the changes, it's not feasible to be able to swap because you don't have that. Cindy's office, it really wouldn't change anything. Without the door going into the other two offices, which I've been told, well, by everybody, that there's a door there, it just got covered over. To go into that back office where Rosalie's office is now, that's drawn there. So that door already exists there. So,
Well, where it says lobby, all that used to be lobby, if you'll remember, in the old bank. The Rita's old office was lobby, and then there was 2 small offices where 3 and 3 are. But all that used to be a lobby. So there's a door that goes into that back part. It's boarded up good. We'll just have to redo it. But that won't be an issue. None of this he's talking about will be an issue. It's gonna cost money. Because unless you're gonna have abstract walls all throughout the building that don't match, we're gonna have to repaint, tear all the wallpaper out, re-wallpaper, or we'll have to do something. We tore all Rita's out, sanded it down, and painted it.
and that's another thing, are we to a point that it needs to be, remodeled anyway because of, the condition of the walls and the carpet and whatnot? Or do we want to just wait till, if we don't think we're to that point, do we wait till that point and just kind of start at one end of the building and work our way back?
I think you decided you're gonna have to do it piece by piece.
That's my thought, but I wanted to hear what y'all had to.
And then you're gonna have to take in consideration what's on Cliff's plate already versus him having time to do it. I mean, he can't just shut down
Some of it we'll just. have to
everything else and just run to it.
The flooring, we won't be able to do the flooring.
Rosalie's office is the most pressing part,
It is.
but you gotta do piece by piece.
What we could do is just do the blue right now. Leave Cindy where she's at, leave Misty in her office, just leave that as it is. Just do the blue. That just takes out that middle wall there and then opens that door. And then year or 2 years down the road, we do the green. And when the green's done, we flip them
Make more sense, go ahead and do it.
to do the blue.
I mean, well, I know you gotta do it step by step, but instead of waiting 2 years to do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Okay.
Blue and green at the same time. Right.
Me, it makes more sense.
Well, the green's gonna cost more money because you got that flooring issue to deal with. You're not gonna have that. Okay. The tile or linoleum in there?
There's red, brown looking linoleum in some of it. The old bank carpet's in the front half where Cindy's office is, and Misty's got, carpet now from the back door, going up that hallway, all that tile is coming up loose from the floor. That's where the water department tracked in and out for so many years.
So if you're gonna do the green, you'd wanna do that hallway at the same time. You already have them on site.
You're pretty much doing everything green and blue to that side.
Yeah.
Well, we just did the county clerk office. All that's just been redone.
If they one part we wouldn't have to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you did the blue and the green, you've done a third of the building has been remodeled. Does that, what they originally moved into that building 8 years ago?
With the blue to green, said that you didn't think it'd be over 20,000.
That's just throwing a number out. Because there isn't any, I mean, there's electrical that might have to mess with, but there's no wet wall there, in the green. That wet wall is there, the wall that borders the bathrooms there. That's where the sink is in that room.
We have any money in the building fund or any of this.
All right now. They'll have to be budgeted.
As it stands, the money for the generator is probably gonna have to come out of ARPA funds.
Right.
Which I believe that's the way it was intended when it first came up, 2 years ago when the discussion was started. But those funds are dwindling down, so.
We got 400.
Yeah, well, a little under 500. So what do y'all wanna do with this? You wanna continue thinking about it? Bids? What do you wanna do?
I guess I'll throw an idea out.
Okay.
I guess my idea would be to concentrate on the blue
Sure.
at first and toss that up to the main body to see whether or not it gets approved or pushed back.
Okay.
Reading the accurate figures would help too.
So before we pass it up to the full body, before it leaves this body, I mean, I'd like to at least have numbers to send to the full body. So I mean, actual estimates of what those remodeling would cost.
Could we get numbers for the blue and green and maybe numbers just for the blue?
Yeah. I mean,
I would like to see it all done on time, but
well, depending on the cost, we
Yeah.
might be able to, but.
Do we want to contract it out? Do we want to see how much we can?
I honestly, I think would be better to contract the whole thing and then see, what's at Cliff's ability of time and manpower. That, he can knock off the estimate to save some money. That way, there's not a burden on him to have to stop what he's doing for this project.
Right.
And he can just kind of pick what he can and can't do and go from there. I'm afraid though that most of the people who are gonna do bids are gonna wanna bid the whole job and,
Yeah, they're gonna,
That's good money price.
yeah. That's my fear.
you wind up getting in each other's way too.
Yeah.
It's not an issue. We can do it. It's just,
Well, it's not, at this point, it's not really a time sensitive issue. I'm trying to get ahead of the problems that Rosalie's having at the moment, so. Things move slow in the county, and so I'm trying to stay ahead of things, so we get it taken care of before it's an issue.
I would like to make a motion that we get numbers for the blue and green and also numbers just for the blue.
Okay. So I have a motion for getting bids on the two. I got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Cliff, do you want to try to bid that out, or what's easier for you?
yeah, we can get some guys in there to look at it.
I mean, honestly, the guy who ended up working at the EMS and getting the bathroom and all fixed, he did a phenomenal job with what he had to work with. I was rather impressed the way that turned out.
Who was it?
But
Somebody
it's the
local?
same people doing what we're doing here. It's the same bunch.
Somebody local?
So the gentleman who did the EMS repair.
Me and him.
There you
Oh,
go.
One home.
okay.
Thanks where you gonna get every time.
Have you asked for more help, like if they'll give you more people?
Yeah, we wanna go to work what we pay.
You gotta find somebody to work for you. He's tried.
Biggest problem with keeping good help for us. Pay's not there, especially when we're doing skilled labor.
Is it cheaper for the county to pay for skilled labor to be on staff 24 hours? Or is it cheaper to just project by project bid it out? I think that's something we need to be looking at as a commission of. If we can hire more skilled labor to have public works that can do the projects. If that's more efficient and cheaper than having to constantly fight these problems of.
Basically, what we do is just maintenance. We've been in the library for the last 2 weeks, putting in new lights. We ordered new ceiling tile for a lot of it today. We gotta put some new ceiling tile in. We do things like that, light switches, outlets, heaters. We work on a little bit of HVAC. We got, you name it, we do it. We do all of it.
Yeah.
So,
But you also got solid waste to deal with too, and there's only so much one or two or even three guys can do in a day.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I
That's
mean,
definitely a discussion.
yeah. So I mean, if it comes down to the point of to get quality employees, we have to pay more for that department. And that's cheaper than having private company come in and have to fight with them because they don't do the job they promised, and we're not really having a lot of good luck with contractors lately. So,
it's gonna be the same on this, people.
yeah,
People ain't got time to do the work they've got, let's come in and stand around and give bids for stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And then try to be the lowest, they're not interested in being the lowest. So it's gonna be a chore in itself.
I mean, me personally, I'm not looking necessarily for the lowest bid, I'm looking for the most quality for the money. I mean, sometimes the bid that's in the middle is better than the one in the, at the bottom. I've noticed a lot of the projects we've had going off the lowest bid, we end up having to pay extra on the back end. And we might as well just gone with the highest price in the first place.
Don't bid this out.
I just meant, I want numbers. If y'all go to the work, we just need to know, estimated expense. I didn't say bid it out. If you feel y'all can do it, I just want to know what you think the expense would be for green and blue and then just the blue.
So whether we put in the next budget improvements, to do the blue project or do both projects.
It just basically the cost of material.
Or if you've got somebody,
Yeah.
a couple of private companies that want to come in and take it off your hands.
I'll let you around, we'll put it out there.
Well, that's all I've got for agenda. Is there anything else that needs to be discussed?
Just, I don't know whether or not we can get the information on all the buildings.
Cliff said that he's got blueprints he was looking at.
See what he's
Are there
got.
particular buildings you're wanting to see?
You wanna see blueprints of the buildings, you wanna know what buildings we take care of, or?
Yeah, like being on buildings, I was on buildings one other time. I honestly don't know what all we have. To tell you the truth, or, things like this, whenever, we're maybe moving offices around, or say like the courthouse, like what's gonna end up going in there, or.
It is nice when you're talking about a building that you know the floor plan, kind of the layout of the building when you're discussing it. I'll see what I can do to find some of that information as we go forward.
So we've got some, like some of the clerks that are required to keep paperwork,
Mhm.
you know, and, whether or not they'll have offices, like maybe whenever we build the jail, or whether or not they'll still need to keep stuff there, or,
I think that was a shortcoming when they built the building next door to us, that they didn't build it big enough to be able to
yeah.
take her records all over there. So now she's having to go back and forth with boxes of
Right.
records. So when that building comes around, that's something we need to talk with her about, make sure, you know, what's the square footage you need to be able to store not only what you have, but what's coming.
We can't move anybody into the courthouse because there's two full offices over there full of storage.
Yeah,
That is really not supposed to be in storage.
Really.
and I don't know how much of that can be digitized or if it all has to have a paper file. I know there's
My
actually rules
understanding,
on
there's a lot of that that cannot be right now, isn't that right?
that. That was what Amy's explained to me, that just by law, it has to have a hard copy, original
Can't do anything
documentation.
with those, they have to stay.
Yeah.
Locked up.
And they're supposed to be locked up, and
Yeah.
honestly, that building's not always as secure as it should be.
Right.
So that's gotta be addressed in the floor plan when they bring the drawings to us at work session.
Yeah.
Get you money.
Um,
Lots of things like that.
When we're looking at these buildings, I think that's the things that we need to be looking at is what's the use of it?
Yeah.
Instead of having to build something and then 5 years down the road, have to build a whole other building.
Right.
And it's just a waste of money in my opinion, but I get a lot of pushback for making those statements, so. I'll keep that to a minimum. If there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Well,
Oh, here's it.
we want to schedule the next meeting. I know Parks and Recreation is March the 11th.
Yes. Tuesday, I mean, I know there's at least 3, 4 of you that are already on that meeting. Are y'all okay with doing another 7 o'clock meeting? We've gone over an hour in this meeting and I'd like to try to get better at that. But are y'all all right with the 7 o'clock meetings or just following Parks and Rec and continuing that way? That way Cliff's only here for one day and not having to come back. Well, I like to be a little considerate of your time. So yeah, we'll go ahead and do 7 o'clock for March 11th. Yeah. All right, I got a motion and a second.